All right, now I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to remind the public to please hold comments until the select board chair opens the agenda items for public comment. A reminder to anybody on Zoom, when you are addressing the board, please state your full name, both in person and on Zoom. It is suggested that you enter your full name as your ID on Zoom. At this time, I would take an motion to approve the minutes from the May 15th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? One abstention because I wasn't present. Appointments, recognitions, and resignations. Request appointment of Cinder Johnson as per diem firefighter EMT at a base rate of $25.97 with an effective date of June 6, 2023.
Move appointment.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Accept resignation of William Renault as on-call firefighter effective May 2nd, 2023.
Move acceptance of resignation with regret.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Accept resignation of Gregory Terrialt as an on-call firefighter effective May 10, 2023.
Again, move acceptance with regret.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Consent agenda, department reports, highway, buildings and grounds, and solid waste. Investment committee minutes from November 2nd, 2022. Investment committee minutes from February 8, 2023 meeting. Shellfish committee minutes from March 30, 2023. Acadia Disposal District fiscal year 24 draft budget and memo. And Hancock County Commissioners meeting from May 2nd, 2023. Anything need to be taken out?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull out item D, the Shellfish Committee minutes
Okay,
for discussion.
Good.
Would you like to do that before we approve the rest of the consent agenda or?
yes, please.
Okay. My concern, I guess, or question with regard to the Shellfish Committee's report is, they mentioned having dealt with folks in DEP and a request for water quality testing, and it hasn't been done for quite some time. I think the last water quality report we had from Seal Harbor Beach was back in 2016, so it has been a while. I think they did agree to go forward with it, but I'd just like us to be mindful and stay on top of that so that we ultimately do get a clear report on just what our shores are looking like for clam sustainability and overall water quality.
Yep, I think that's a very good idea.
Excuse me, may I?
You may.
speak to that?
Yeah.
We just had a meeting on June 1st, follow up with that, and the DMR biologist and water quality person were both attending in Zoom, and they have all agreed that we're gonna do more water quality tests. The water quality test scientist said that in particular with Gilpatrick Cove and the other shore areas within Mount Desert, that the numbers are very good. There's been a significant improvement since 2016 or 17 when they last were doing tests. But there will be more detail at their next meeting, which will be in the fall.
That's great. I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you.
So a fall meeting.
Yeah, probably, actually it'll be in November, so
Okay,
I was surprised that it said that there appears there are probably several homes with archaic septic systems. I thought those were all taken care of. Weren't they? They said they're grandfathered. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't, they're still, how is the water quality doing?
Detail, I just know there's still travelers that haven't updated their septic system. I think they're so seasonal. I don't think the state's worried about it, but
and that's a state regulation versus anything that the town can do.
Well, I think a lot of that, the archaic systems had to do with the condition of Gilpatrick Cove So in hearing that there has been market improvement in the water quality at Gilpatrick Cove, it tells me that at least they're moving in the right direction in taking care of those archaic systems. Things take time, I guess. So we can be hopeful.
Thank you, Claire. So do we want to do the full consent agenda at this time?
I'll move it.
Second,
Any other discussion? All in favor to the consent agenda? Any selectmen's reports? Hearing none, we will move on to unfinished business. Review bids received for financing projects approved at the 2023 annual town meeting, consistent with the requirements identified in Articles 38 through 43 and associated disclosures in a total principal amount of $2,550,000.
So the bids came back, they were due back Friday morning at 10 a.m. So we weren't able to get them out in the packet. That's why I have them there for you. And there's a couple of extra copies if anyone wants them. In the original solicitation letter, we had requested just a 20-year bond. After that fact, I was speaking with our bond counsel, and we wanted to at least understand what the bond anticipation note rates might look like. So we requested informal rates from the entities that were providing the formal bond rates to see whether or not the difference is substantial enough to expand out the formal solicitation process. As you can see, there was about of the best, there was a 0.36% difference between a 2-year band as an estimate and the 20-year bond proposal. In my opinion, that's not worth expanding out the solicitation process. There's still a lot of risk that rates could continue to go up over the next 2 years, and the savings don't seem to necessitate that. So the meeting today is just to review the 20-year bonds, determine whether or not you do want to expand out the solicitation process to include bands. And regardless of that decision, we'll come back at the next meeting and formalize the sale and the documents and all of that. But I wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page at this meeting as to which direction you wanted to go.
I don't know if it's a formal motion to agree with you that it's not worth pursuing a few more nickels here and there that.
I'd second that.
And my recommendation would be that we move forward with the sale to Farm Bank and Trust. They were at 5.48% for the 20-year bond.
Or are we waiting till the next meeting to
Yeah, I just
formalize
want to know
that?
that everyone's in agreement that that's the route we want to go, and we'll get the documents all in order and make the actual formal approvals at the next meeting. And we'll have the required disclosures in the newspaper and everything for that approval.
I agree. I think that that's a good recommendation.
I'm recusing myself.
Oh, yeah.
I would move then that item A be tabled until we can formalize it at our next meeting on June 20th.
Second, yeah.
All right, any other discussion on that? Everybody in favor? And one abstention?
Yeah, I'm standing.
Thank you. Thank you. Consider modifying 8-221 authorization to purchase a new international truck and chassis from Daigle and Houghton from $85,400 to $90,520 due to delay and corresponding changes in material costs.
Wow.
Who's delay?
And is that, I mean, is it, what was, it was just took time, it was,
Yeah, it just took time in order to get the piece of equipment, and going out to rebid, you'd end up paying.
Yes.
It's-
and from 21 to,
We were in the queue, we just had to wait, and there's charges that went with that.
I guess we authorize modification of that order.
Second.
any other discussion? All in favor?
No.
On to new business. Mandy Fontaine doing business as Abel's Lobster Pound on the Shore LLC, 13 Abel's Lane, Mount Desert, request for liquor license renewal.
I'll move it.
Second,
Any discussion or questions?
I just a general question about these applications. Is it entirely our responsibility to review these carefully? Or are they vetted and looked over by the office first, or are they just?
We check to be sure that there are no changes from the prior year, the prior license. And if there are no changes, then this comes forward for your approval.
Okay, because it seems like some of the entities do a much more thorough job of filling them out and
Yeah.
others not so much.
It's really the state that has the ultimate authority on whether that liquor license is approved. Basically, the town is just saying you haven't had any complaints or you
Okay.
don't have any concerns. So if you're gonna sign it and then it goes to the state for their approval. So if the state has an issue with how they've completed or not completed their application, they will go back to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's good information. So we have a
Move and
motion
second.
and a second. All in favor? And Scott Cole, 14 C Street LLC, doing business as the Docksider, 14 C Street, Northeast Harbor, request for liquor license renewal.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
yes. Item 20 in the application indicates that the establishment is 2 miles
Yeah, I know.
from the Mount Desert Elementary School, and it is actually 0.3 of a mile.
Two tenths. Anyway, we're gonna,
We
yeah.
Google mapped it before the meeting.
So did I. Well, I mean, this is the other, I mean, under gross amount of income, they put $15,000 in food and 7,000, and that's not gonna pay your taxes for that spot, but,
But I think last year they didn't
Okay.
get started till late. They,
all right, I just,
They probably based it on last year's.
yeah, that's what I would suspect, because it was newly sold and had renovations and
Alright.
things I think that had to be done. So that was probably based on last year. But would we have them make that correction before
I
we?
will make a note so that when they come to pick it up, they can amend their application to the state. I'm guessing that they put the decimal in the wrong place. Instead of saying
Could
2
be.
miles, they put. They
Two
should have put
point
0.2.
two. I
Anyway.
suspect you're right.
and
So-
not to be a stick, I just think that in general, I think we probably ought to be sending more of a message with all of these things that we're taking them seriously.
Well, if we're approving it, we're giving the state notice that we have rubber stamped the application.
That's true.
If
Yeah.
it has a basic error in the information being provided. And we're putting ourselves out there to support that information. I'm not in favor of that. I would just soon see them correct their application, and
And
I mean,
that-
we have no intention or any reason. We have no cause to deny their application. But I want to make sure I'm approving a complete and accurate application to the state.
So do you want to pull this or do you want to approve it with amendment?
I think we can approve. We have no reason to deny. We're just asking that they amend their application before it gets sent to the state with our blessing.
So is that a
And
motion?
I so move.
Second,
Any other discussion? All in favor with that amendment?
Martha, did you vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't see her.
Did it quick.
Downland LLC doing business as Jordan Pond House, 2928 Parkland Road, Seal Harbor, request for liquor license renewal.
move approval. Second,
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Public space event application, Mount Desert Sustainability Committee Sports Equipment Swap, July 8th, 2023, Northeast Harbor Village Green.
I'll move it.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? I see Meg Asher is here, if anybody has any specific questions for her. All in favor? And public space special event application, Mount Desert Sustainability Committee tool swap, August 12th, 2023. The Northeast Harbor Village Green.
Move approval.
Second,
Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Consider a $10 processing fee for BYOB off-premises catering and taste testing and the like liquor license applications.
Do we get a lot of those?
We probably get, what, about 6 or 7 per year in general.
probably mostly during the summer, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. The $10 seems like a very small amount, considering that any paper that comes across your desk probably costs more than $10 in payroll, you know? But I guess some of these things are just to make sure that people aren't.
It's cheap, it's in line with similar things like a business license that we do, that would cost $10 to process that. There's, the permit fee for public space
Right,
is
yeah,
$10.
it's $10.
So it's in keeping with
Right.
those types of processing.
We should raise them all, maybe.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Next year.
Next year. No, I don't see any problem with that. I would move that we authorize that.
Second,
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor? Consideration of authorizing the sale of the surplus equipment on behalf of the fire department by the competitive bid process.
move authorization.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? Consideration of accepting an unconditional gift from the First National Bank to the Mount Desert Fire Department in the amount of $200 in recognition of National EMS Week.
Did we miss H?
Oh, sorry. Consideration of authorizing the fire chief to determine the acceptance or rejection of bids and disposal of items that do not sell on behalf of the town.
Move authorization.
Second,
Any discussion or questions?
just a question for chief regarding the fire vehicle, that the frame is all fractured and uninspectable. Where would you see that vehicle going to? One of the islands perhaps, or
No, I doubt it, not in the condition it's in.
it's in that bad a shape?
Yeah, we not only the frame, but there's 1 or 2 leaf springs that are cracked. These are brakes,
Ah.
tires, but the frame is majority of the reason. I don't think it's serviceable, so
Yeah.
our best chance would be somebody to buy it, maybe for the motor, for the water pump, which is still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
The metal itself, too, I don't know if there's anything. But I would be hesitant to sell it to them.
Anyway, they've got pretty good trucks.
What's that?
They've got pretty good trucks out there.
Yeah, some of them are. So-
Well, we don't want to get a reputation of selling somebody a piece of crap.
Right.
Do we have a motion?
Motion and second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Now, consideration of accepting an unconditional gift from the First National Bank to the Mount Desert Fire Department in the amount of $200 in recognition of National EMS Week, May 21 to 27, 2023.
Move acceptance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? With thanks from the bank.
Yes.
Consider authorization of solicitation of bids for a laddered maturity portfolio of CDs, treasury bonds, U.S. government agency obligations, and or similar investments with maturities from 3 to 6 months and $5,000 initial investment after substantial tax collection.
It goes 5 million.
5 million, just another zero. $5 million initial investment after substantial tax collection in fiscal year 2024, as recommended by the investment committee.
Move authorization.
Second,
Any discussion or questions?
my only question, I mean, you're confident that this will not, that none of this tying up this funds will put us in any potential harm or.
Oh, no, it's a very conservative
Okay.
cash flow estimate.
I figured as much, but I just wanted to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just trying to get a little bit more interest with people.
Well, I know, and we appreciate that you've been doing that all along. Little bits here and there make the difference.
Yeah, no, that's a conservative estimate. When I first started working on this, I started with more aggressive numbers and had scaled it down substantially, as this is the first time we're doing this exact model, and maybe in time this relationship can build and we can get better and better, and you know, the idea of maximizing the return as much as possible.
Very good.
Good.
All in favor?
I'm gonna recuse.
Thank you, Jake. Consideration of authorization of 100,000 to be used from the capital gains reserve account number 400-24202 to reduce the 2023-2024 tax commitment in accordance with Article 54 passed at the 2023 annual town meeting.
Move authorization.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Review and approve entering into a contract with Maine State Bureau of Purchases to purchase bulk salt for de-icing roadways. Hard to believe we are talking about salt already.
Holy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Move approval.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. Second,
The-
This has become pretty standard. We've
Yeah.
been doing this for a few years now, and we basically opted in with a bunch of other towns through the Bureau of Purchasing. There were 75 towns that opted in this year, and it gets us a better rate.
How do you decide how much?
Well, we only have so much building,
Mhm.
and we use it in particular, you know, mixes with the sand primarily, and so Ben's been doing it a few years. So he's pretty good at estimating.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor? And review and approve contracts and purchasing for the replacement of 23 windows in the town office.
I mean, this is just the final step in
Yeah.
what we've been talking about for some time, right?
It has been a little while. It was bid originally in December
Yeah.
22, and we received no bids. And so we went.
Oh,
through a
right,
process
that's
that we've
right.
done
Yeah.
Previously, and
That's why it's been so long.
similar kind of window replacement. And we went directly to a local contractor, CB Buckland, and we asked for a bid from him, and we brought in Welch's Painting, and so there's kind of three components to it, which is the two contracts with both CE Buckland and Welch's Painting, and then we'll direct purchase through him and lumber the windows that are needed and whatever other materials, and all three of those
Okay.
components and attached to the memo. I have confidence that they'll do an excellent job, and it's about 4 to 6 weeks probably for the windows to come in. So once we have authorization, we'll go ahead with the purchase. If they do come in a little bit early, they weren't supposed to start until after September 11th. But we could probably get away with some of them in some of these rooms prior to that, and work our way through as we can, and then with, you know, approval of town staff. And move into that area as well.
Good.
Move it.
second,
Any other discussion? All in favor? Any other,
Thank you on behalf of the office staff.
any other business? Any comments from anybody else in presence or on Zoom? Any from select board members? And we will move on to the treasurer's warrants. Warrants to be approved and signed, town invoice AP number 2378 for $884,211.36.
Move approval and signature.
second,
All in favor? Authorized warrants to be signed, town, state, and payroll benefits AP 2375 in the amount of $3,286.94. AP 2376 in the amount of $95,458.85. AP number 2377 for $5,563.48. And town payroll PR 2327 in the amount of $144,964.02, with a grand total of $249,273.29.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? And one abstention, please. Warrants to be acknowledged, school invoices, none. School payroll, PR number 24 in the amount of $185,898.23.
Move acknowledgement.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? We will take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank